and welcome to Take Two Radio. I'm Pam, your host, and joining me today as my co-host is Sabina. Sabina, are you with me?
Hello.
Why do you sound surprised? You knew you were on the show.
No, I'm not surprised. I'm just excited and happy. I've got lots of reasons for that. But anyway.
Well, before I introduce our guest, I want to give a shout-out to my other co-host, which is David. Today's his birthday, so
Yay.
Happy birthday, David. Hope you're having a good time listening to the show. I wasn't going to make him work today. But tonight we welcome Brian-Beacock, the creator of the award-winning series McCracken Live, and now the creator of the new hilarious web series called Acting Dead. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. This is awesome.
You're very welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. Also, we have joining us actress Jillian Clare, who was on Days of Our Lives, Misbehave, and more recently the movie Alien Abduction. So welcome, Jillian.
Hello.
Hi. So how's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Great. I was just telling Jillian that I just so happened to be in beautiful Santa Barbara for a vacation after the premiere of the show, but I also happened to be sitting in a hot car at a laundromat. So Hollywood is both glamorous and very low end. So that's my life.
Oh, my gosh. Are you on your way somewhere that you stopped to in of all places to do?
No, it was so crazy. I had planned to go to Santa Barbara right after the launch of the show, but leading up to the show, there was literally not a minute to get anything done, namely laundry. So part of my vacation is sitting at a laundromat. It's all right.
Oh, my gosh.
Otherwise, I'm very good.
Good. And Jillian, are you somewhere nice, or are you in a similar situation?
I am on my couch with my big German Shepherd, so I'm doing good.
Aww. I love German Shepherds. That's actually my favorite breed, but since I became allergic to dogs, I can't have those types. Yeah.
She's actually a white German Shepherd, which is kind of rare. She's really cool.
Yeah. And they're gorgeous. I had a totally black one at one point. So
Aww, pretty.
Yeah. His name was Thunder.
Ah, that's so cute.
So anyway, Brian, please tell our listeners a little bit about Acting Dead for those that may not have seen it yet, and your character, Tate Blodgett.
Well, it's an 8-episode zombie comedy, so we're calling it a zomedy, and you would expect a zombie show to be, tons of, blood and guts and scares and stuff like that, and we have our fair share of it, but it's more of a hybrid between, say, the movie Shaun of the Dead and television shows like Parks and Recreation and Arrested Development. So it's probably nothing that you've necessarily seen before, which was kind of why I created it that way. And it's really fun. It's really weird. My character, Tate Blodgett, is an out-of-work actor. He's not that talented, and he lives in this kind of created fake Los Angeles reality where zombie movies are kind of taking over the industry, not unlike the way they really are, right now. And he can't even get a job as an extra as a zombie. He's not good enough. He's not dead enough. He's not realistic enough. So there's this company called Flatline Inc. in L.A. that takes these kind of down-and-out actors and kills them, turns them into zombies by making them watch hours and hours of terrible 80s television sitcoms, all like Clockwork Orange. And so he becomes this zombie, and then he starts his new career in Los Angeles. And through trial and error and a lot of mishaps, he starts to book work, and he meets his cohort through the season, and that is Alex Carbonneau, played by Jillian Clare, and she can tell you a little bit more about Alex.
Okay, and Jillian, before you talk about your character, let me go ahead and announce our other guest that just joined us.
Oh, nice.
Joining us now is award-winning actress and author Carolyn Hennessy. So welcome, Carolyn.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm thrilled.
Hi, Carolyn.
Thrilled. Hi,
Hello,
honey.
Carolyn.
Hello, darling. Yes, it's very, very exciting. So, hi.
And since Carolyn only has a short little time with us, I'd love for her to go ahead and tell us more about your character, Dr. Ivana Worster, since we haven't yet seen her in the first episode. And I just wanted to say she almost reminds me somewhat of Diane from General Hospital, but that's what I've only seen from the trailer.
Well, I wonder why. Yes, she has the same face. She has the same face as Diane.
Well,
so it's
mob, zombie, kind of the same thing.
Absolutely. Listen, it has the same letters. Dr. Ivana, we're not quite sure, and it's left a little bit open as to is she actually she's an entrepreneur? Is she really a doctor? Is she, because she's very, very, it's worded so brilliantly the way that Brian has worded all of these wonderful monologues and intros to Ivana, kind of what she is. But suffice to say, with no pun intended, she's the brains of the operation. She heads up Flatline Inc. And she sort of guides everyone sort of through their journey in terms of being at Flatline. It's so funny. It is so refreshing. It is it's a fabulous character with great with the twists and turns that Brian has allowed me to kind of, fill in are fabulous. But the show in general, just speaking of the show kind of in toto, in its entirety, is one of the best things I think I've been involved with. It's so funny. It's so clever. Brian's performance is just spot on. Jillian is fabulous. Everyone that he's got. It's really kind of a must see. It's a must see series, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of it. So.
Wow, thank you, Karen.
Definitely.
Well,
yeah, we enjoyed the first episode, although as we always complain about web series, they're much too short, and we can't wait till the next one comes out. Carolyn, when does your character show up?
I believe I show up in I start in episode 2.
That's correct.
Yeah. We
also
get a load of me.
We have a special episode, which is basically everything that Carolyn did on set the day she came to work. Because we couldn't put it all in the show because you got to keep the narrative going, obviously, especially in a short web series. But I'm telling you, there was no way we could not show everything she did. So she has her own special EPK episode that's going to come, I think, week 5 or week 6, and it's called Meet Dr. Ivana Worster.
Meet Dr. Ivana Worster.
Well, that.
I'm
brilliant.
It's very lucky for me that I have been doing, a soap opera for 8 years because I was only able to do one day on the set, and he had written copious amounts of stuff, and I said, okay, we're going to take this paragraph by paragraph, and I'm going to do it. And it's also very lucky that the character, I really sort of settled into it, the actual, sort of embodiment of the character very fast. So there was no sort of really, what's my motivation here and what's this and what's that. It was just, it was so delicious saying all of these lines, all of this fun stuff, because his writing is just, I was very lucky to be able to say all of it, and it's a wonderful, wonderful part. But I was just informed that there's going to be all of me. It's like all of us. That's going to be fun because we had a stellar time that day, or at least I did. I had a great time doing it all. So
for anyone who's
seen, wait for that.
Oh, it's crazy. And for anyone who's seen Carolyn's work, to see this, where it's just her, where it's not just her doing, a quip here or a quip there, to see what essentially is a comedic masterclass of 3.5, 4 minutes. It's just phenomenal. And I told Carolyn last night in a Facebook message that I've always been a fan of hers, and I was a fan of hers before I had ever met her. So having her come to set was kind of like, you know, oh my God, here's Elvis. I mean, like the superstar for me.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
No, it's true. And she really, she carries a weight with her. It's a very subtle
Don't I?
weight.
Oh, believe me, I do.
No. But I mean, it's this intelligence, comedic intelligence power. And you basically, I mean, I've worked with Dom DeLuise before, and it was kind of like that. You don't really have to do a whole lot. You give them the stuff, and then they make it brilliant. And that's exactly what she did. It was really, it was amazing to see.
That's very sweet. Well, here's what I just want to say about this series is that this is it's one of the very, very few series that I believe has a chance to kind of up-level itself. And I think if there are enough eyes on this series could really go to another arena. It can leap off of the internet and onto prime time, onto a cable. This series is that good. It's that good. And I didn't, you know, we all do so much work, and we are involved with, you know, Friends series, and we do things over here and little spots and guest stars here on the side. So we never really know kind of what the end product is going to be. And watching these first 2 episodes when we did the premiere party on Monday night, it took my breath away, and I realized I am so lucky because this is something very, very special. Very special, very funny. And it's it works on a number of different levels. It's just funny from start to finish. So there you go.
Yay!
That's my little take on it.
And that says a lot for you, Brian, and everybody else that was in the series.
Kidding? Yeah, I mean, I really take. I mean, I had a lot of compliments today from people online that had seen the show, and you know, we're so close to it. So it's really nice to hear other people's take on it, especially if it's, you know, positive, you know, because screw the other people.
Well, definitely,
yeah. But it's
we only
really
listen
nice.
to positive reviews.
Thank you. Exactly.
Oh, absolutely. And when you're doing it, like, for instance, a play, you only read the positive reviews. The rest of everybody else can just go suck an egg.
Yeah. The negative ones are clearly evident when you get your closing notice on the door.
That's right.
But it's really nice to hear, and it's kind of like we are in a new arena, you know, Jillian and Susan Bernhardt, my producer, and Carolyn, and everyone who's been involved, because we've been so, like, nose down, face down in the project that now we've kind of come up for air to watch it with everybody else, and it's a whole new aspect of the show. It's a whole new version of the show to us, and it's really fun, and it's, frankly, after almost a year of production, very refreshing.
And I just want to say that the guest stars are fabulous. Jillian does an amazing turn because I've seen her. She just won the Indie Series Awards for I believe it was Best Supporting Actress, right, Jillian?
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. So you know, she's got some serious chops, and her character is so funny and so dry and she herself is a larger than life personality, and she brings that, but it's kind of, it's all sort of compacted into this little ball of ghostly rage, you know, and she's so indignant, and she's trying her best, and she's just a joy to watch. Everybody is, and we saw John J. York.
Oh my gosh!
Who does a wonderful turn? Anyway, it's just oh, and my gosh, Patrika Darba.
Patrika.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm used to watching funny people. I love comedy. Don't show me a sad movie. I ain't interested. So I'm used to watching comedies, and this made me scream out loud several times. So.
She literally was screaming at the premiere the other night. I mean, laughing so hard that I thought I was going to have to, like, help her somehow.
I know. I thought, well, I'm injuring myself internally in some way. I'm because I was laughing so hard. Oh, Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for so many eyeballs to be on this thing. So, anyway.
All right. Well, Carolyn, I want to thank you so much for calling in tonight. We really appreciate it. And I've never gotten to interview you, so this is a very huge treat for me as well.
You are very kind. It is absolutely my pleasure. We'll maybe you and I will do something just us gals. Just us gals.
That would be wonderful.
Okay?
That would be wonderful.
Absolutely
yes.
my pleasure. All right, everybody,
watch
this show. Just watch it. And my love to everybody. Okay?
Thank you,
Carolyn.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
She's so awesome.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, with you being such a huge fan, Brian, and her saying Carolyn saying all of that, your mouth has got to be sitting on the floor right now.
I'm telling you, she sent me a Facebook message last night that almost kind of had me in tears because it's just, you know, we do a lot of work. We work really hard, and, you know, we know whether it sucks and we know whether it's good. But when you have someone who you really respect and is kind of an idol of yours, to have them go and say something like that, it's really awesome. It's really cool.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, my gosh, that would even just be like somebody else that does, you know, big, huge talk shows like Oprah or somebody telling me, "Oh, good job, Pam. I really enjoyed listening to you." I'd be dead on the floor. You'd have to get the smelling salts.
Really, like the best person in the world. She's become my aunt. She actually calls herself Auntie Carolyn to me, and we do trapeze together and all this stuff. She's so cool.
Yeah, she's a great person and uber talented. Too. What's that?
I was saying they could pass for relatives.
Oh,
Jillian and
could.
Carolyn.
And the more they hang around together, the more that's going to become more evident.
Right.
Oh, it was hysterical because I guess my mom was hanging out with Carolyn, I think about a month ago. I don't know. They talk every day. It's hysterical. But they were hanging out, and I guess Carolyn said something that just freaked my mom out because it's something that I say, but I didn't know she says it all the time. I don't know exactly what it was, but she said it in the exact same tone that I say things in, and she's just like, "Oh, my God, you and my daughter are the same person."
Love it.
So Jillian is a mini-me, or maybe just Carolyn being with you. It's starting to rub off that way, too.
Right, exactly.
I think I'm the mini-me of Carolyn, yes, definitely.
Yeah. And you know, Jillian, your character is Alex Carbonell, and why don't you go ahead and tell our listeners about your character?
Oh, goodness, Alex. She is a riot, I guess you would call her. She's just very angry with life, and she hates people to core, literally just hates people and their stupidity and can't stand when, you know, people are stupid because she literally wants to haunt them, and now that she's a ghost, she can. She was a child star who got a really bad reputation for her serious attitude problems and kind of just became the, I'm not going to name anybody, but she became, you know, the person that you don't want to work with. She became, you know, that person who's on that list that you're like, oh, no, not going to work with her because we know she has attitude problems and we know this and we know that. So she hates the world even more now that that's happened. And she went to go to Flatline to become a zombie to try and, you know, reboot her career. And instead she dies. The procedure does not go well for her. And she runs into Kate, who is the only person that she's met that can see her and talk to her. So she kind of stalks him and uses him to get her ahead in the acting business, even though she's a ghost. It's pretty funny.
It is, because, you know, Sabina and I both watched the first episode, and we both had the same reaction. We were shocked that you were a ghost. We didn't expect a ghost to be on the series. We thought, well, either you're a ghost or you're a very pretty zombie, one or the other.
Yes, I'm definitely dead.
Aww. And so that's how it goes along with you, you know, following Tate everywhere, because then he can talk for you, I would assume.
Yeah,
well,
and of course,
in later episodes, you'll see some really fun stuff with Chris Gallia, who plays my roommate and longtime best friend. And you'll see some really funny stuff where I actually kind of take over his body and use him as well.
Oh, fun.
And Jillian is so funny. She is so funny in it, and so mean, and
so mean.
But it's still.
I tell you
so
though,
mean,
I had a great time throwing chairs and throwing like everything around and just yelling at casting directors, because I've got to tell you, I've been holding that in since I was 8 years old, so that felt pretty good.
That was my favorite part about the character, and that's what I really wanted to get across, and I'm sure there will be more of it in season 2, but the fact that someone expresses their rage not only with verbal, assaults, but by knocking chairs over and tables, I thought that was a really funny attribute of someone.
Yeah.
She did it very well.
I'm looking forward to seeing that for sure. I actually wanted to ask Jillian something. Of course, you've done both TV and web series shows. What is it you like best about each, or is there something different that makes you like them both?
It's very hard to compare the two. I mean, it's different when you're on a show like, I don't know, Victorious, or when I was on Castle, or when I did my series that was on Fox the Winter. It's very different because you have a crew of 200 people surrounding you. You have all these things. You're not really in control of anything but memorizing your lines and being in character and knowing who you are in each scene and just knowing the basics of acting and, what you have to bring to the character and whatnot. Whereas on a web series, it's kind of more of a family environment, because obviously we're not going to have the money to have the, sound, the studios all the time and the 100 people crew and, just the largeness of a regular TV show isn't the web series world. So that's really nice because you create, a closer group of people and a closer family. And, I mean, at the premiere the other night, it was nice because the group of people that we worked with, we really created like a little kind of family. And it's nice because in that aspect you have a little more room to be able to do what you want and say, hey, we didn't get this shot, let's throw this in, or hey, it would be cool, let's do this, or, just you have a little more freedom, I guess, with web series.
Mhm.
That's true. And
how much ad-libbing was on the show?
Well, not a lot.
I stuck to the lines, I'm sure, I think. Yeah, I did.
And a lot of that came with the fact that because it is limited budget, that equates to limited time for locations. And so there's not a whole lot. You got to make sure you at least get what's on the page and make sure it's good enough. And typically the ad-libs come after. And for us, there wasn't a lot of after, time-wise. So unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of it. We did have some, and things are bound to happen. And you're like, oh, that's perfect. Let's reshoot and go for that. So we did have a little bit of it.
Now, how long did it take to film the whole web series of season 1?
We did 10 shooting
10 days.
Yeah, in a period of 3 weeks. So we would have days off to kind of like regroup and gather our extras and all that stuff. We had 92 people on the cast and crew.
Wow.
So that's pretty big for a web series.
That's huge.
So
even just
huge,
the guest starring, there's a lot of them.
Oh, my gosh. And, 50 or 60 extras and people driving from all over the place. We had one guy that flew out from New York to be in it. People came up from Laguna and San Diego to be in it. So that was kind of fun that people wanted so much to be a part of the show.
Oh, definitely. Now, Brian, I have to ask you, how did your eyes feel after wearing those contact lenses? Because they sure look painful.
The first series I did was McCracken Live, where I dressed up in, as a woman and wore high heels. And that was painful. So I thought, okay, the next show I'm going to do, it'll be normal, no makeup. And then I do a zombie show. So it's my own fault for making it happen. But they were terrible, but because I had 4 different pair. I had the kind of the milky white ones they use on Acting Dead. And then I had the terrible fake-looking ones that my character wears where he's alive but auditioning to be a zombie. And then I had a bright blue pair that the character wears where he's a zombie but pretending to be alive. So I was wearing contact lenses all day. And But it's funny because, you know, Jillian and I met when you were 8 years old, Jillian?
Yeah, 8.
Yeah. So we met at Universal Studios doing The Grinch in the park, and Jillian was Cindy Lou Who, and I was the Grinch. So I have been wearing terrible contacts for a long time, but I don't wear them in real life. So to me, they're a little bit more uncomfortable than to say someone who would wear them, you know, as a normal human being.
Yeah, and they're probably not like regular contact lenses for somebody else. No.
Yeah, no, these are from the Halloween store, so they're probably not the best to be wearing 15 hours a day. Yeah.
Oh.
And of course, you know, there was no time to take them out, you know, because we had to shoot. So I'd put them in once I got into makeup, and they were in until we were at the end of the day.
Oh, my gosh. Well, and that's why you had to take the breaks in between. You weren't waiting for other people to come. You were taking the break for your eyes.
Purely selfish. Right. Purely selfish. Oh, my gosh.
Now, is Tate only going out on zombie editions? I mean, that's what it kind of seems like to me from only one episode.
Yeah, no, that's the funny thing because it's kind of a play on the whole union, non-union thing that actors deal with in L.A., so he puts makeup on. Once he's a zombie, he realizes, wow, I can't even get a job as a zombie, but here's this non-union job or this human job. So he puts makeup on and blue contacts in, and he does what's called passing, and he goes to auditions as a human, even though he's a zombie. The trouble is, you know, the need to feed on brains isn't masked just by wearing makeup. So sometimes things go wrong on set when you're pretending to be human. So yeah, you'll see a lot of examples of things just not going right in Tate's world.
You know what's funny too is about when you mention brains. I keep every time I go to tweet about you coming on the show, I start writing brains instead of Brian.
You know what? It's so funny you say that because, you know, I've been typing since I was in 3rd grade. I learned how to type. And since this show started, I have typed my name as Brain more than my entire life. So it's got to be some, like, you know, muscle thing in my hand that's making it happen. That's funny.
Yeah. I guess I just, you know, put the two together, Brian Brains. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to change your name to Brains-beacock. And then...
Well, I think my math and science teachers would disagree with you based on my high school grades, but that's all right.
I also have to mention that casting director wasn't very nice. And I hope to God that that's a real big exaggeration of how they really are.
I would love to say that you're wrong, but not always. That's she's played by Christine Lakin from Step by Step, the Patrick Duffy TV show Suzanne Summers years ago when she was a kid. And Christine Lakin now has her own web series, Love and Lakin, and she's in a new one called Valet, which I think she may have also produced. And she might also be in Veronica Mars' movie, I believe. She's amazing.
Oh, really?
And so funny. And she came in like everyone else. Most of the guest stars worked for one day. They came in ready to go and just hit it out of the park. She was so funny and so mean, and just makes me laugh every time I see her scene. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she was amazing. I completely did not recognize her. Of course, she was kind of young on that show. You know, I used to watch her on that show. Yeah, so I didn't realize that was her, but that was awesome. I'll be watching again just now that I know who she is.
She's so great.
I was actually wanting to ask you, Brian, if you can tell us when to expect to see Eric Martsolf and Debbie Gibson.
Yes. Eric Martsolf and Lori Allen, you will know Lori Allen's voice. She's the voice of Diane Simmons from Family Guy, the newscaster. And it's basically Lori Allen, Eric Martsolf, and Carolyn Hennessy all work at Flatline Inc., and that episode is next Tuesday, the 29th. So that's when you'll see Eric. And Debbie Gibson comes in, I believe, episode 4. Which will be 3 weeks from now. And she's actually in a couple episodes. She plays
Is she
Roberta.
Gonna sing?
She's not going to sing. She sang on the set, but she's not going to sing in the show.
Awesome.
She was so excited because, you know, she's been a pop star her whole life, and she's always had, you know, the showbiz life. So she's like, I've never been a waitress. I'm really excited to play one. So she wanted to look kind of like, you know, normal and kind of like just like be a regular rundown diner waitress. And she's so funny. And, again, she's very mean. Most people in this world that I've realized in Los Angeles are kind of surly. And I think it's funny. And she does it really well.
Well, I have to ask about one of my all-time favorites. Besides Carolyn from General Hospital, you have John J. York. When does he come in, and what does he do?
He plays Tennyson Albright. He is a zombie acting class teacher, and he does, like, Meisner method and movement workshops for zombies. And you will see him in episode 3, which is in 2 weeks, and I believe he might be in episode 6 or 7. I'm not sure. We had people come in and shoot the whole day, and then because the show moves around so fast and has all these little bits of sections and flashbacks, kind of like Arrested Development, we're able to put these guest stars in multiple episodes, even though they only shot one day. And he's just so funny. He's wearing this black sweater and a red ascot, just typical bizarre, you know, 1960s beatnik kind of hippie acting teacher.
I love it.
He was a riot. He was just a riot. And I swear, we didn't tell him to do anything. He just came in and started, and we're like, that's perfect. Yeah,
oh, my God. I cannot wait to see that.
So funny. And my mom, Donna Beacock, she is a huge fan of General Hospital, all the soaps, actually. And she was going to be in Los Angeles when we were filming, and she's a big fan of John J. York. So I brought her to L.A., and she is in several scenes with John in the zombie acting class. So I made her up as a zombie, and she gets to kind of shamble with him and dance with him, and it was really exciting for her. So, in fact, I think she's
love that.
She's watching my laundry right now, the laundromat.
Oh.
She's with me right now. You got to put her to work, right?
Oh, wow.
Is that her pay for doing the show?
Yeah, exactly right. That's her compensation. She's so cool. And so I flew her down for the premiere. So she was here Monday night, and she was on the red carpet with me. And, I mean, you know, everything I do is for my mom and, you know, in honor of her and stuff. And so I was really happy to get her in the show, really happy.
You're such a good son. I love that.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and announce that we have award-winning actress with us. I mean, I think all of you guys are award-winning of some kind. But we have Patrika Darbo online. Hello, Patrika.
Hello there, and Brian, I want my 10%.
You only took 5%. That's why I'm with you. Remember?
I'm just the agent. I want my 10%, baby.
We love Patrika.
Back at you, baby.
Oh.
Patrika, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what your character is for those that haven't seen it yet?
I'm sort of the agent. I'm sort of a caricature. And I hate to use that word, but I'm sort of a compilation, I think is a better word, of several of our agents, or several of my agents over the years, and several other people's agents that I met. But of having such a good time. It's a wonderful piece of work that Brian created for me, and I love it.
Oh,
she's
and
so
you do such a phenomenal job. You're so funny with that straight face. You know, I think that's probably like Jillian. You know, anybody that does like straight face comedy, I think is probably the funniest for me.
Well, I think it kind of comes from you want to try to be as real as possible. I mean, for me, I know that. My experience with Jillian since she was like 11, she tries to be real in everything she does too. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello, Patrika.
Hi, baby.
Patrika, I noticed that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Because I was so excited to get Patrika in the show because Jillian had worked with her on Misbehave, and just like Carolyn, I've known Patrika's work forever, and she was another person where I was just in awe to be sitting across the agent's desk from her because she's been in everything. Patrika has done everything. And she's so good and so fun and so easy to work with. So she was the first day that we shot were all the agent scenes. And it was just really a pleasure to work with her, and I can't wait for season 2 because we got more stuff coming up.
Oh, I can't wait, and thank you so much, Brian. But I worked with Susan before, one of our other producers on Misbehave, as you said, and I don't know how she gets everything done either. So,
oh boy.
And I'd probably lay down in front of a train for her because I think she's amazing.
Aww.
It's just a good group. It's a good group of actors who want to act, and this day and age, it's not the same business it was when I started, and by creating your own vehicle, it's where it's at, and I'm glad to be part of it.
Well, I'll tell you what, as much as you guys are talking about how well you work together and how much fun it was and how much you love each other and you're all like a family, I'm not an actress, but I want to work with you now.
I know, same here.
all people are welcome. Zombies are all welcome.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I could probably do that, sit in a chair somewhere with no lines and have makeup on my face. That would work for me. I don't know about the contact lenses, though. That would be kind of hard. I can't use even the regular ones.
Yeah, we had a couple people that brought their own, which was really cool, so we didn't have to buy them or pay for them. So that was cool. People that were fans of monsters and zombies in the first place. So that was great. A budget helper.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Anything to help save some money to put more into the actual series is phenomenal. Now, Patrika, I have to ask you, because in your office you have photos on your corkboard, and I noticed that one of them looks like Carla Mosley, like a young Carla Mosley. Was that her or somebody that looks like her?
I have to say I don't know for sure because the set decorators decorated everything there for me, so I don't really know whose pictures they used. Sometimes they have to get
Brian, do you know?
I don't recognize that name, so I don't think so, although it would have come, like Patrika said, from set deck. I know that there's way too many of my old headshots up there. We also, just terrible, but we also did a fun thing when we were doing our Indiegogo campaign called the Old Headshot Perk, and people could send in their old headshots, and we would feature them in the show for like a $40 donation to the Indiegogo campaign. So there's about 20 headshots from people that donated to the show that you'll see throughout the season. So some of those could be those.
And they can still send in. I think we could give her another email or something, because I think that we're going to be running for a long time. So any other actors that want to be in my office hanging on the wall, come on, bring that money on, babies.
You got that right. You got that right. That's so funny.
Patrika, I was actually wanting to ask you about the nameplate that was there. It said travel, but it was crossed out with talent agent. Was travel agent your first job?
Honey, look, in this business, you got to have your fingers in a lot of pies. It's just another one of those wonderful kind of set pieces that let me have. It's another kind of it's a character in itself. My desk in the show. The pictures that you noticed, the travel talent agent going on there. I mean, those are the little details that I think just show you how big a production this is. It may be on the little screen, and but it deserves to be on the big screen with the professionals that we had backing us up as actors.
Awesome.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, the crew, Patrick was talking about Susan Bernhardt, our producer, who wears many hats and made this production happen. She and I kind of worked on this from the very beginning, and we leaned on each other quite a bit. Probably me more on her than she on me. But
you should see her. You should see the sign on her desk.
Right. There's a lot of things written on it. And then another producer, actor who plays my roommate Paul in the show, Paul Nigro, came on as a co-executive producer, and the crew. I mean, you know, our score is written by Jamie Forsythe, who's the composer for Bones, and he's worked on multiple television shows. And the score is its own personality because it's very well. It's got ukulele and drums and guitar, and he wrote and sang the theme song, which Jillian will agree to is pretty rockin', isn't it?
It's kind of amazing.
It's kind of an amazing opening, and the title sequence, the movement animation was done by an artist in France, Martin Woudesef, who was, right after we hired him, was featured in Time Magazine and Huffington Post. So we really lucked out. Like, all these pieces started falling into place, not just with guest stars, but with crew and locations and everything else. So I'm kind of sitting here still spinning, not believing what has happened.
I bet.
Definitely. Well, I know Patrika only had a few minutes to call in, so I want to let you go. So you need to get to wherever you need to be. I don't know what your plans are, but I didn't want to keep you hanging too long.
Well, thank you, darling. I just took my food out of the oven because I'm cooking dinner at the same time. You know, ever the diva, we have certain things we have to do. It's my pleasure, and just to let you know, and the fans, that you're going to love this show. I can't wait to get all the fan feedback, and hopefully we'll get invited to HauntCon, and we'll really blow this town up with our walking zombies, acting zombies, and everything else.
Hey, Patrika, will you come do a bunch of those cons and stuff with us?
I didn't hear what you said, honey.
I would love if you would come do some of those cons and stuff with us. That would be a blast.
Well, you know what? I've done a couple HauntCons because I had the most incredible kill when I did Hatchet. So it's a whole different audience, and it's my pleasure. I just think that work begets work, and this is going to get people more calls, especially you, Brian, not only for your acting but your creating of this show. And, you know, Susan's probably we're going to have to nail her feet to the ground as our producer. and Jillian, our little baby Jillian, we've got to hold on tight to her because she just won an award. Last week we went and you won an award. So it's such a wonderful crew and an honor to be a part of this whole production.
Thank you, honey.
Aww. With that, I'm going to go stir up the gravy, babies.
Thank you so much for calling in, Patrika.
Thank you guys for having me. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Jillian, did you say what you won for? It was for Clutch, right?
Yeah. I won Best Supporting Actress in a Drama at the Indie Series Awards. When was that? Earlier this month, for another web series that I'm in called Clutch, Canadian series, and it's a femme fatale series, so it's fun.
Awesome.
And then you're.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Oh, Clutch?
Yeah.
It's great, and she's
really
great in it.
And
you're doing a new movie, aren't you?
Well, yeah. I had a film that was produced by Lawrence Bender, who did all of the Quentin Tarantino movies, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill, all of those, and our other producer was Mike Fleiss, who does Hostel and Texas Chainsaw.
Wow.
That came out earlier this month as well, April 4th. It was distributed by IFC, and that's called Alien Abduction. And I believe we're still in the top 100 on iTunes, if I'm not mistaken. We're definitely number 3 or 4 still in the horror genre, like in general. So
yeah,
that's
congratulations.
been going really well, and thank you. And I'm actually going up to Portland next week to do the opening/release of it up there and do a big Q&A afterwards as well with Peter Holden, who plays my father in the film. And then I also just signed on to a movie called Free for All that I'll be filming later this year, actually in Portland as well. And that's exciting because it's really my first adult role. It's the first time I'm taking on something that I'm not playing a teenager. You know, I'm playing a college dropout who's in her early 20s and is already getting a divorce, and her father dies, and she's just in the middle of complete turmoil.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm really excited about that. I feel like that's the type of role that can change my career path, and I'm pretty excited to not be playing 16 anymore.
And, of course, I'm so excited because it's awesome that Jillian's taking off because I will ride her coattails the whole way.
You sure will, and you should.
For sure.
Now, is there going to be a blooper reel?
It's funny. I don't know if we have. Do we have one, Jillian? Do we have things that we caught on film, or?
I don't know. I think there's definitely that one thing that I think was caught on film where we were filming in the restaurant, and I'm a ghost, so I'm supposed to disappear, and I just fell to my knees, and it looked very awkward on camera, and I'm pretty sure that's on film.
Yeah, we've done some stuff.
That's a terrifying
yeah. And we are going to do a behind-the-scenes featurette, which we're editing right now. So a bunch of interviews, not unlike this, but on camera with a bunch of the cast and crew and guest stars. We've got a music video that we shot one day with a zombie band, and possibly we'll put together a blooper reel. I think we've got time for that because with the episodes will probably be airing through early July at this point. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you, Brian, once all the episodes are released on that other website, will they eventually be able to be viewed on YouTube or put on DVD, or how's that going to work?
We are going to have a DVD box set release. We're going to be working on that. We probably won't go to YouTube. I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not a fan of YouTube, but I'm not a fan of YouTube.
Okay.
That's
fair.
I think it's just and they're changing, but just for the main thing is I just don't like the way the player looks. I just think the compression and stuff on the video is not my favorite. But while we're on JTS TV, we're also we're pitching. We're starting the process of the Hollywood Shuffle and talking to networks and places like that. So. Where we will be is kind of yet unknown, but we will be out there, and we will also be shooting a season 2. I've started writing that already. Yeah, Jillian, it's crazy. It's crazy.
All I know is that I was on Facebook one night, and Brian had updated his status and said that there was going to be a musical episode, and I don't know if I can curse on this thing, but I almost crapped myself.
Yeah. Yeah, you can.
I almost shit myself.
Yes, and but I've heard Jillian sing. Jillian actually had to go in for it was a movie, right?
Yeah, it was actually a George Lucas film that I auditioned for a couple of years ago.
And you had to sing, and so you asked me to come over and just listen to you, and she was great.
Yes.
Jillian sounded great, so there's going to be no problem with having Alex be a singer. And if she can't sing, well, she'll just knock over a table. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll just get angry over it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't hit the high note, you knock over a chair. Big deal.
I'm interested in hearing that. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited. About that.
Well, as far as singing goes, Jillian, that's another thing to add to your resume once that comes out. So there you go.
See?
I started out singing first. That's what got me into acting when I was 7 years old. I had a 13-song show that I did touring up in the Northwest, and the talent scout saw me and was like, have you ever considered acting? And I'm 7 years old, and I'm like, what the heck is acting? I don't even know what that is. So I tried to continue doing it, and I was working with a
Oh, we can't hear you. What do you do? You dropped the phone?
Uh-oh.
Jillian.
We've lost you, Jillian.
Jillian. Maybe it's time for her to eat brains?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe she is doing that right now.
Jillian.
I don't know.
Hello? Jillian? Maybe the dog's got the phone in his mouth.
I don't want to read about this on the news,
Oh, my gosh. Jillian.
Oh, well.
Yeah. I'm going to put her on hold for now, so that way we can talk a little bit and then bring her back, and maybe she'll be on there. What I wanted to talk about, too, was that you had the red carpet event for the premiere of Acting Dead. And here I'm thinking that you guys show the whole season, but from what Carolyn said, you only showed 2 episodes? Was that right?
Yeah, we showed episode 2 and 3. It's, we could have showed the whole episode, but we basically wanted to get people in, do the photos, have a drink, have some food, introduce the cast and crew, show a couple episodes, and then essentially leave them wanting more. It was a pretty quick party, 4 or 5 hours or whatever, and I think it did what we wanted it to, and that was get people excited about the show, and then have them anticipate, the release of every episode.
Well, that's good in a way because, I was going to say they can't tell anybody what's going to happen, but then again, they were there. But then again, they may not have been there for the day certain scenes were filmed, right?
Exactly. The way we shot it, you probably have no idea what's going on in the whole season.
Okay, all right. I figured that because and a lot of times you film things backwards, like episode 10 goes next to episode 2, or do you pretty much stay right in a row?
No, because we had to basically lock down the locations. If we went to the diner, we had to shoot every single scene that took place in the diner on that day. So we shot completely out of order just based on the location. So yeah, it was kind of interesting to try to remember where your character was in the sense of the story and am I a zombie now? Am I a person now? Etc.
Okay. I know that has to be so confusing. I think we got Jillian back. Jillian, are you with us? Oh, because her call had dropped and then she called back. Jillian? I'm sorry.
No,
if you can hear us, we can't hear you. I'm really sorry. I don't know what's going on with her phone. She must have moved off the couch and went to someplace that's got a lot of interference.
Yes.
But anyway, we'll be letting you go soon anyhow. I just wanted to mention for our listeners that Acting Dead will air every Tuesday, and it's for 10 weeks, you said, correct?
Yes, 10 weeks, possibly 11 or 12 if we get that. If we get the music video up, and if we kind of look into that whole blooper thing, which is a great idea.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah,
I get credit on the screen for that, right?
That's right.
And you can view this Acting Dead on jts.tv. Is that a new platform for this type of stuff for web series? I've never heard of it before you guys went on there.
I don't know when they launched, and it could be one of the newer platforms.
Okay.
But they have a lot of content, and so they've obviously been around for a while.
Yeah.
And there's some great shows on there. In fact, all the shows that I see winning awards at festivals and stuff are the shows that they have. So that's
cool.
Great. And also, you can get to our page on JTS by going to actingdead.com. Where you'll also see all the photos and news and press and background on all the cast and creators and stuff. It's a really cool website designed by one of our actors, John Yelvington.
Oh, yeah, it's a wonderful website. I actually love it. I am looking at the cast page right now, and looking at all these faces, it's just amazing. Yeah. And for our listeners, you have to look and see who's on there because there's so many that it would take us probably 15 minutes to mention who's all on it.
Yep.
And from various different TV shows and movies and stuff like that. So you'll be very happy to see that. I'm sure you'll recognize at least one or two people when you watch it. And I love that you bring in so many actors from all the different soap operas because, with a lot of them being gone, this is a way for us to see them again.
It's great. And they're
Guys,
really
I'm
great.
Back.
Oh, she's back. Yay.
I just steal my mother's phone. I don't know what's going on with my phone. It's a piece of crap. I dropped it across the screen last week. So
we thought you were eaten by a German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Well, no, she's in a kennel right now because I didn't want her running around chasing cats when I was doing the interview.
But yeah, the soap stars are so talented, and they're very, they're quick learners. They got those lines down immediately, so they can spend all their time working on the character, and they were really fun to work with.
Most definitely, and Jillian's been doing this long enough, and she was on Days at one point, so she's a trooper at heart. She can do whatever you put in front of her, I'm sure.
Yeah. She was amazing. We had a lot of fun.
Thrown in a dumpster for this thing, so
multiple times thrown in a dumpster
by Eric Martzoff, and so it was shitty because I was thrown into a dumpster, but great because Eric was the one who threw me in it, so it wasn't too bad.
Right?
It wasn't that bad of a day.
Right.
And the dumpster, you were not the only one who was regulated to the dumpster. We had other people that had to get inside, too.
Chris had to go into the dumpster, right? Yeah.
Yes. Equal dumpster opportunity production is what we are.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, Sabina, I think you had another question before we let them go.
Yes, I actually did, and I know we kind of got away from the cons, but I did want to say Dragon Con here in Atlanta is fantastic. So I actually am friends with and have talked to the coordinator who brings in, the guests for the Dragon Con, and I will be talking to her and telling her about this series and that she needs to get you guys to come out here and talk about it. It's awesome.
I would be
like the best con.
So excited. That would be a blast. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I have to say, Jillian, I keep thinking I'm talking to my cousin Stephanie. You sound so much like her.
Really? That's funny.
Yes.
Does she hang out in dumpsters too?
Yeah.
Maybe not the special ones with Eric Martzoff, though.
Yeah. No. But I just wanted to tell you both that this is a great web series, and I'm just getting a little bit more introduced to the web series genre, I guess, because I don't really watch a whole lot because I'm never home basically. And so, but I will be buying this DVD as soon as it comes out because it's amazing, and it's got a great cast and great people. So, and
great writing.
Yeah. Yes, great everything.
Thanks, you guys. We really appreciate that.
You're very welcome. And for our listeners, too, don't forget to follow Acting Dead on Twitter @ActingDead and like their Facebook page at facebook.com/ActingDead. And, again, the website is actingdead.com. And the series is on jts.tv. You have to subscribe to it, but it's very easy, and they give you a 2-week trial, and it's just so worth it because, as you said, Brian, there's so many other award-winning series on there that, you will get your money's worth out of it, and it really does not cost a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, it's well worth it. I'm also discovering series I haven't seen before, and it's really fun. It's really fun.
Wonderful. Well, we'll have to check that out. Now look for Clutch. Jillian, where do I find that?
ClutchTheSeries.com.
Okay, thank you. Is it with a C or a K?
C, like a purse, clutch. Or
okay,
gun
okay,
clutch.
Cool. All right, I'll look that one up too.
With you, Jillian.
What?
It's always fashion.
Oh yeah, always.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for taking the time to talk with us today, and we look forward to seeing the next episode number 2, next week. And we wish you only the best. You're welcome back anytime, and keep on doing what you're doing because you're perfect at it.
Aw,
thanks
so
much, you guys. This was a lot of fun.
Have a good one.
You're welcome.
You too.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Well, Sabina, how is your singing voice? Sing happy birthday to David.
Yeah, no. You don't want me singing because I am tone deaf. say happy birthday, David, which I tweeted him earlier. So
yeah.
That's all I can do.
Well,
sorry.
I'll go ahead and bring him on since he's listened to the whole show, and you go ahead and say something. Say happy birthday, David.
Hi, David. Happy birthday.
Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Did you have cake today?
No. Nope.
No?
No cake
I
today.
think you should get an acting dead cake with brains on it and think of Brian and Jillian and Carolyn and John and everybody else that's in it.
I want them at my birthday party.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd be fun at the birthday party.
Really?
Especially
so
Carolyn. I want Carolyn.
Oh, I just adore her. I absolutely love her. And when I found out last minute she was calling in, because at first Susan wasn't going to tell me who the two other guests that were calling in. And
surprise you.
Yeah, I know, but I told her, I said, I'm sorry, I'm the type of person that likes to be prepared, and I kind of like to know who's calling, because then you know what to ask that person ahead of time.
Right.
You know me, I prepare, and I wing a lot of it, but I like to be prepared. And she's like, oh, okay, well, this is who's calling in. And I was like, I almost fell on the floor. I was like, oh, my God. I love her. I love Patricia, too, don't get me wrong, but I've never spoken to Carolyn before. So that was a special treat. I got a birthday gift because mine was on the 17th, and you got yours today, David. So there we go.
Well, what did you get? Oh. What
Carolyn
did you
calling
get?
in.
That was mine.
It was a belated.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, so we get to share?
Yes. Yes. I share my show
like
with you.
that.
You share your guest with me. That's how that works. Now, if you don't behave, I'm going to put you in the corner and tell Mommy that you're not sharing. That's it.
All right, you two.
But we needed to get Sabina her gift, but he didn't come.
Oh. Yeah, I'll be seeing him this weekend, though.
Yeah, don't worry about her. Don't worry about her. She's going to the Days event this weekend, so I don't even want to hear any lip about that.
And my birthday's not till September, so we got a ways to go. I can
Yeah.
I already asked her to come to Syracuse with me in July, but she told me I had to pay for it.
Yes, because I can't afford that. And actually, I might be busy with work. I don't know what weekend or time of the month that is, but I do have some work things coming up that I can't get out of. So
you take time off for that time of the month?
Not that time. Damn.
Oh my! I would, I guess.
I'm talking about. I don't know what day of the week that is. Oh my gosh, Pam, get your.
You opened that up, Sabina. I couldn't help it. So.
Oh, I should have known better.
Saturday, July the 12th.
I want to say to our listeners that it's a good thing that I have both my co-hosts on right now because I'm going to make an announcement, and that is we are going to take a break from doing shows from Take Two Radio, from Take Two Radio Music, and We Know, Do You Know, which I also do with Dawn. Actually, we only got a couple of shows done with We Know, Do You Know because Dawn all of a sudden found a house to move into, and that's what she's been doing the past few weeks, so we couldn't even, schedule another show. So it's a good time now to take a break. I've been doing this for over 2 years now between this show and other stuff, and it's just that time. And I have things that I have to do with my special needs son. He has a new therapy he's going through, and that's 4 times a week, 4 hours a day. And there's just not enough time in the day. So I think now is a good time to take a break, and it may be a month, it may be 2 months. So everybody keep in touch with us. I'll still be tweeting, and David will still be tweeting, so will Sabina, and from their own accounts as well as Take Two Radio crew. And although I think David pretty much owns that one.
Yeah, he done took it
never
over.
tweets from that. and then also you can check out, the website at take2radio.com, to see if we have any upcoming guests. And believe me, we have a plethora of podcasts on there from all that we've done for the past year and a half. There's, I would imagine, 150, if not more, maybe even closer to 200 podcasts on there. And you can listen to the ones that you haven't listened to before or listen to some of your favorites again. As always, you can follow us on Blog Talk, and they'll send you an email to let you know if we have a show scheduled. And I think that's about it. And I want to thank David and Sabina for this ride with me from the time that we started until now, and hope that you guys enjoy the break and, actually go outside and live life instead of just being on the web and on the phone. Maybe we can all find some sunshine.
Yes, I have been, but yeah. No, but thank you for asking me to co-host. It's been fun, and I'm definitely game for whatever's ahead.
Yeah, we'll come back. I just don't have a time period set right now. It all depends how my son is doing. So he has to go for 8 to 10 weeks. It could be longer. So we'll see how that goes. We'll ride it by ear. And in the meantime, whenever I get a chance, I'll be setting up future interviews. So we'll be here. We'll be back. There's no doubt about it.
And please,
David wouldn't let me go that easy. He'd hunt me down.
I'm not letting her go. I'm not letting her go.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. What are you talking about? I enjoy these too.
I'm not letting her go.
Well,
she's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Nah. I'm sure I'm going to have withdrawals every Wednesday when I don't have to go to therapy, and I'm sitting there going, I know I should be doing something. What am I supposed to be doing, I'm going to feel lost. But that's all right. We'll be back. So thanks again, guys. And David, enjoy the rest of your birthday today, and be sure you get your cake and stuff from when you get time to go with your family and friends. That'll be nice. And anybody that wants to see Ryan Pavey, and I hope I'm saying his last name correctly, from General Hospital, and he plays Nathan on there, or James. Depends who's calling him, right? If you want to see him, you can see him Events by Wendy in Syracuse, New York on July 12th. Did you say it was a Saturday, David?
It is a Saturday.
Okay. Well, I've added a page to take2radio.com under the More category. It's the first one. If you hover over there with your mouse, you'll see Events by Wendy, and the information is there on how you can get your tickets. And spread the word. We want this to be a huge event for Wendy, since this is starting a new adventure for her. Although she has been in this type of business before, this is her own business. She's doing it all on her own, and we want her to be very successful with it. So if this turns out to be a huge event, she'll be able to get more of your favorite actors at events like this, so that way you can go out and see them and do the meet and greet and have all that fun. So,
yes,
right, David?
And please let them know that David will be there. I will be there.
He'll be there. And he's going to hopefully do a behind-the-scenes interview on video, like he's done with a couple other events that he's gone to. And you can check that out on take2radio.com as well under, what did I put it under? Fan events? Put that under? Fan events? Okay. And it doesn't have to be a video. If any of you go to a fan event, Sabina has put in quite a few of them as well. If you write like a small blog of the event, who you saw, what you did, what your impression was, anything like that, and include some photos, we'd be very happy to put those up and share those with the fans that couldn't make it. It's always a nice thing to be able to do that. And
Pam, I'll do my best to get some video footage this weekend to post there. I'm going to try.
Okay.
I'm doing the VIP, so I get a little extra time with less crowd at the cocktail party. So I'm going to do my best because I really want to get some video footage as well. So.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. And be sure to tell them that you're from Take Two Radio. Don't just say, hi, I'm Sabina.
I will.
We want our name out there so that way they know that when the crazies are calling for them to be on the show, that it's us.
Yeah. Well, I know Eric would definitely, help us out because he's been on the show and he was fantastic and he remembers me from the show as well as for meeting him and the 50 million different times I've met him. I think I've seen him and Sean Christian the most.
He's starting to think stalker.
No.
Well, you have fun. You guys sound like you have an exciting time. I have my G kids for the weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. And
yay.
We'll talk again offline. And to all of our listeners, thank you so much for going through this 1.5 years with us. We really appreciate you being with us. And like I said, we'll be back. Take care, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.
Have a good night, everybody. Stay tuned.
Good night. Bye-bye.